and Jackie in Glenview, Illinois. Hey, Jackie, thanks for listening to WCPT. What's on your mind today?
Hi. I just wanted to say, I was listening and I get so heated and irritated when I hear these people say that it's about, immigrants taking our jobs and not paying taxes and seeking into this country. And I have a daughter who is adopted from Guatemala, and she's brown. I myself am, blonde hair, blue eyes. So is my husband. And I have seen racism in a way that I think even, all brown families don't see it, because I see the way people switch when they see that she has white parents. But ever since the election last year, when Trump won, my daughter started having a lot of people say, you're going to get kicked out. You don't belong here. Brown, there's going to be a wall and your parents are going to be deported. And one girl, she actually even said, you don't belong here. You're going to get deported, and so are your parents. And she said, well, my parents are white, so, yeah, that's not happening. I'm adopted. And the girl goes, well, they should never have let you in. And a boy who I know from, way back in first grade, he has Polish immigrant parents with thick, heavy Polish accents. He probably was the worst because she had multiple classes with him, and he would say things regularly. And he one time was chanting, did the deportation, did the deportation next to her in class in a low voice. And, this has nothing to do with, these kids aren't learning from, these are 8th graders. They're not learning from their parents about people taking our jobs. They're learning about hating brown people. And this is just a front. They're not, no one's actually saying the real thing. They just want to get brown people out. And when they use this lie that it's to, to keep our country safe, that's a lie.
Right. And the argument that the Secretary of DHS yesterday made, Christian Nielsen, that, there is a law against being in the United States without documentation, yeah, it's true. And it's the same level of law. It's a misdemeanor. It's the same level of law as jaywalking. And
yeah.
when we, literally, it's the same level of law. It's the same level of law as running a stop sign. It's if you don't hit somebody. It's the same level of law. It's a misdemeanor. And so when, I'll believe Christian Nelson, or Nielsen, or however she says her name, and Jeff Sessions, when they start taking white people, putting them in prison, and sending their children into foster care, or putting their children in dog kennels, I'll believe them that this has something to do with law and order. This doesn't have a damn thing to do with law and order. This has to do with the color of the skin of the people who are coming into this country. As Frank Schaeffer pointed out, it doesn't even have to do with religion,
Yes. And, like I said, from the time she was very little, and, one time we were boarding a plane and a train, and the conductor said, wait, where are your parents, with their hand in her face? And my husband and I were standing right behind her, and I said, right here. She goes, oh, have a good time, honey. Go have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, and that's just one example of millions. My daughter's seen it, at 3 years old at the Children's Museum. Parents go, where are her parents? When she's doing anything but holding my hand.
Right.
And, this has nothing to do with laws. And these people they're learning it from their parents, and it's just all lies. It's all a front to get brown people out.
Or to simply demonize them. I don't think he frankly cares if he gets them out or not. He just wants to demonize them, just like he demonizes black NFL players, and that cranks up the base.
Agreed.
Jackie, very well said. Thank you for calling and sharing your experience with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Good talking with you. Thank you. Karen in, how do you say that town in California, Karen?
Atascadero.
Atascadero, there you go. What's up?
Right. Well, I wanted to thank you so much for what you're bringing up about these children. I have been a social worker for 35 years, and everything you're saying is absolutely true. And what I do want to bring up is the sexual trauma and the trauma that these children will face. It is not a secret among social workers. We attempt to deal with this in our foster care systems. However, some counties and some states are much better equipped because they have more money. For example, I worked in L.A. when MS-13 was formed, and that is, these children came up from Central America already traumatized. They were already traumatized. They were thrown in the foster system. And we created this. I mean, as you're well aware, we already created this
Right.
problem.
MS-13 was an American invention, yes.
It was an American invention. They fled up here. And once they got into the foster system, they were doubly traumatized. And this also happened to children who were coming over from Eastern Europe and Asia, and Russia and Asia.
Yeah.
And what people don't know is a lot of these children were victims of sexual abuse and became part of sexual rings. And it's not something that's talked about, and I fear this is going to happen to these children.
Yeah, and it also, I mean, they're putting 6-year-olds in with 12-year-olds, and as these boys are hitting puberty, they become the abusers, and it gets very messy.
Yeah.
And it's a whole spectrum. Karen, thank you, very, very well said. And I would just like you to think about the worst thing that happened to you when you were a kid growing up, and just some humiliating event, whatever it may be. I remember teachers calling me out. I remember Dennis Lynch beating me up. There's things that I remember right from my childhood that I always thought were trauma. But I was never torn from my parents and put in a dog cage for weeks. It never happened to me. I can't imagine the kind of trauma. I can't imagine the kind of nightmares that I'd be waking up from. This is absolutely breathtaking. David in Pittsburgh. Hey, David, what's up?
Hi. Just wondering where the outrage has been for the last 10 years about this. This has been going on quite a while.
No, it's not. This was a practice, David, that when Donald Trump was sworn into office on February 16th, they had a meeting in the White House where Jeff Sessions and Steve Miller presented this. And it was decided not to do it because of the blowback. And then a year later, they put this into practice. It went into practice in April of this year. The children who are here without parents, who were in these detention centers, or whatever you want to call them, during the Obama administration, 100% of them were children who came in either as the possessions of, or essentially of, coyotes or abusers, number one, or number two, simply crossed the border all by themselves. But
so those kids today, they're coming in with coyotes or false parents, which is grown by 300% in the last year, according to statistics. That would still happen to them.
That is not the group that we're talking about, David. That is not
traumatized.
The solution for them, obviously, is to do what we did before, which is you move them through the system as quickly as possible. The law says that they cannot be in detention more than a couple of weeks, and you get them into the foster care system. But these children came with their parents. David, if you are supportive of this administration ripping children from their parents, you have no goddamn soul. If you're supporting that, forgive my language, but I am sick of it. These white racists justifying this horror, this freak show in the White House, and the horror of using race as a way of gaining political advantage. You can go screw yourself. I am so sick of this.